Hi, everyone. My name is Adam Zern, and I'm a technology education teacher here at Lampeter Strasbourg. I'd like to say I'm just a veteran teacher now that the years are starting to add up, but this is year 19 for me. I started teaching in the wood shop, kind of transitioned into the computer lab, and I've been starting to teach computer science now for the last couple of years and really enjoying that, something kind of new. So, welcome to Computer Science Essentials. I want to talk a little bit about the course, and then I'm going to kind of give you an awesome tour here of Schoology. So the big question I ask students, or just in general, or sometimes students like, why computer science? Like, why is it a big deal? Why is it important? And so I kind of focus on these three big things. So one, I think computer science is pretty cool because it creates instead of consuming. We live in this world where we mostly consume, right? We're constantly staring at a screen and we're constantly consuming, whether it's a video game or a movie or a YouTube video or a TikTok or whatever. We're just kind of, consuming that content. And computer science allows us to create, which is really neat. And so, we can kind of become, hey, here's the information that I've created, check it out. So that gives you some really power in today's society. So computer science gives us that ability. And so that's a big one. The second one is, through technology, or computer science through technology is a great equalizer. And I don't know if the kids are a big fan of this, but I said if this COVID pandemic had occurred maybe 30 years ago, we just wouldn't have had this internet and capabilities for them to learn at home like they did last spring and like they are now, probably 3 days a week. So, with all this technology, they can still continue to get like a world-class education, and that's pretty cool and pretty exciting. But the third reason I think is the one that really resonates with the students, and that is this, and it generates wealth. And I mean like obscene, ridiculous amounts of wealth there. And so because these things are so valued today, like data is so powerful that when we look, there's a lot of rich people because of computer science and the wealth that it's generated for them. I mean, just think Jeff Bezos. There's a guy that started an online bookstore, and he's now the richest man on the planet. And an example I just kind of give to students is this. And so I always ask them, hey, what is this? And they're like, and everyone knows it's Instagram. And I was like, hey, did you know that Instagram was started by two guys? And they're like, and usually no. The answer is no on that. And I said, well, and then of course I'm like, who owns them? It's a little easier to tell today because it says Facebook there at the bottom, but Facebook owns them, but not created by Facebook. So Instagram started by two guys, and they sold for Facebook for $1 billion. And I was like, hey, think about the math on that. Two guys split $1 billion, all right, for an app that takes photos and then some filters to make your photos look nice. So nothing really all that complicated, and that's real power there. So that's pretty cool. Another thing that I like to ask them is, of the 10 richest people in America, how many, basically owe their wealth to computer science? And what do you think? You can take a moment there and think about that. What do you think? Is it one? Is it 10? Is it five? Well, it's more than half, and it's six. So 6 of the 10 richest men in this country owe their wealth to computer science. I mentioned number one there a minute ago, Jeff Bezos closing in on $200 billion. You've got number three, the second one, you've got Bill Gates, again, in the $100 billion club. You've got Mark Zuckerberg in the $100 billion club. I think Elon Musk just hit the $100 billion club. You've got the co-founders of Google. You've got the founder of Oracle. But there's about 6 of them right now. The 10 richest men in the country, or people in the country, owe their wealth there to computer science. So that's usually something that really hooks a student. So let me just shift gears here and I'll talk a little bit about Schoology here. So I know every teacher does their Schoology just a little bit different, and I want to highlight just kind of how I do mine. And so at the top of the page here, as you can see, every single day I'm going to have the agenda. And so the first one is, hey, take attendance. So be sure to complete today's attendance no later than 1:50. I have to submit it to the office by 2:00. And so if they are virtual, if they are virtual Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it is super important that they go in there and do that. And so some students are struggling with, making that happen. There may be an assignment due that day. There may not be an assignment due today, but really what matters in order to be considered present, you have to go in there and you have to take attendance. All right, next we've got vocabulary. And computer science is like learning a brand new language, so many new terms. And so every day we're going to have 2 or 3 terms, and I have them write them down in a notebook. If they're at home, they should watch the video and probably write those down. We had a quiz the other day. Obviously some are at home and some are in school, and I'm sure the people at home are theoretically using a notebook if they have it. And so I told the people in class, hey, if they're doing it at home, you might as well do it here. Not everyone had been writing them down, and so that kind of stunk for them. But the vocabulary is so important because I need to be able to say to a student, like, all right, hey, I need you to write me a user input that's going to be asking for a float, and I need you to store that input as a variable so we can use it later. Or even, hey, I need you to store that as a global variable, because we're going to be using it later in the program. So I need them to understand what a float is, what a variable is, what a global variable is, what a user input is. And so I need them to understand all of those things, and then we can go and do the coding. So every day we do, like I said, 2 or 3 vocab terms, typically kind of relating to whatever the lesson is that we've got going on. Next, you can see like step 3 is there complete this Hello Per app. And basically with that, it's a fun little thing. We were accessing some of the internal features in the tablets. We use App Inventor, and it's pretty cool. You can create these apps on the computer. So we do the block-based coding at this point. We'll eventually transition into Python later, and then we do some of the coding on the computer, and then we take this Android tablet, and you can scan this QR code this computer gets you, and it puts it on the tablet, and then you can instantly see your app. It's super cool. If something's not working, click, 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 and then you try it again on the tablet, and you can like instantly see those changes. And so that's really cool and pretty exciting. The kids have a lot of fun with that. But anyway, the app that we were working on last week, basically we're learning how to play sounds. We're learning how to access the accelerometer inside the tablet. And so the students had to change the button into an image. And when you press the button, it plays one sound. And when you give the tablet a shaky shake, it's going to play a different sound. And a lot of students got that done on Thursday last week, whether in school or at home. But if not, then they'll want to finish that up, like for example, on Tuesday. Now, so we'll be kind of the rest of us, everyone, kind of be moving on to this digital doodle app, and it's sort of this little take a picture, draw on it, change the image and stuff, and app that we're working on. And so talk about we're going to work on that, and then I mentioned how, hey, look below and click where you submit it, and you're going to find everything you need. And I'm going to show that to you here in a moment. Then below that, I usually have some announcements. Sometimes I don't. It just depends what's going on. And basically, right now, it's, hey, if you haven't already, you need to create your account in Project Lead the Way so you can access the curriculum, the content through there. So a lot of us did that last week, but if not, they'll need to do that, and I just have that information there. All right, so in the middle, there's folders, and they can look in there and find stuff. But the big thing for them is really my next place to tell students to look is over here on the right-hand column, and you can see, hey, attendance for Tuesday, September 8th. Do 150. So they need to go in there and do that. And it's just a little question. And honestly, it doesn't matter whether they get it right or wrong. It's how we're doing attendance. This is where they're going to submit the Hello Per app. We can see that's due on Tuesday at basically midnight. And then we can see this digital doodle app. And the crazy numbers is kind of how Project Lead the Way numbers the activities. So let me go in there and just kind of show you like what that would look like to the students. And I think there we go. It's loading. So in basically everything they need is going to be here. So I always tell students like, hey, just click where you're going to submit it, and everything you can possibly need is going to be in that spot. So I'm like, hey, start by watching this video, and I have a completed version of the app so they can see like, hey, this is what I did, and yours is probably going to be something at the very least they can sort of like visualize like what the end goal is. We've got a list here of all the requirements. So allows the user to take a picture and store it, allow the user to draw on the screen, allow the user to clear the screen by shaking the device, allow the user to select different color pens, allows the user to change the width of the pen. We do this one all the time. User-friendly layout and professional look. So it's got to look great. It's got to look good. And then I always have some kind of like beast mode type of thing, like impress your instructor by something. Sometimes it's specific, and sometimes it's more just, hey, just add some extra cool features. And I've had some people add some really neat things over the years here. Again, if they haven't joined Project Lead the Way, information for that. There's some full written descriptions for the app if they're struggling. I usually have some helpful links in here. I'm going to get a Google Doc link there tomorrow morning. And let's see what to submit. So, hey, if they're at home, they're going to upload this file to me. And if they're in class, they can often just show me the program running on the tablet. If they're struggling to submit it, there's a video. We've done it a few times now, so it shouldn't be too bad. But I've got a video there to take a look at. I'm a big believer in mastery, and so if a student isn't happy with the grade that they earned, they are welcome to resubmit it. I will put in the comment, I'm like, hey, this wasn't right, or this didn't look good, or it's usually in this case like either something is omitted, like, hey, your app was supposed to do this, this, and this, but it doesn't do the second thing, or something is broken. I'm like, hey, I'm pressing the button and nothing's happening, or whatever it might be. But I'll document that in the comments, and they are always welcome to fix those problems and then resubmit it, and I'll be more than happy to grade. I'm a big believer in content mastery. All right, so hey, that's all I've got. I appreciate you watching here to the end. Um, I'll be available on the Zoom meet. Of course, I'm available via email all the time, so feel free to send me a message and I'll get back to you. And otherwise, maybe I'll see you Thursday night in a Zoom session if you have any questions or just want to see if talk to me in person. That'd be cool. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys later. All right. Thank you very much.